The galaxy had long whispered of the humans. Tales from distant systems spoke of their strange resilience, their stubborn survival instincts, and the peculiar way they thrived under pressure. Yet most civilizations dismissed these stories as myth or propaganda. For millennia, humans had slept quietly on their pale blue planet, unnoticed by the vast empires that claimed the stars. They were considered primitive, harmless, a curiosity to be catalogued rather than feared. The first mistake came from arrogance. The Lithari Dominion, a race known for its discipline and precision, had discovered the human homeworld on the outer edge of the Orion expanse. Their scouts reported no signs of advanced weapons, no fleets in orbit, no planetary defense systems. Only a network of cities, scattered populations, and strange ritualistic gatherings in remote areas. The humans seemed asleep, unaware of the galactic stage. A council convened on the Dominion's capital, a city of shining towers and hovering platforms. The Lithari leaders, confident in their technological superiority, debated the protocol. "The humans are harmless," said one elder with a crystalline voice. "We may observe, catalog, and if necessary, control them. They pose no threat." Another counselor, younger and more curious, frowned. "We know little of them. There are legends, warnings. The one rule, do not wake the humans. We should leave them be." Laughter echoed through the chamber. The warning was ancient, dismissed as superstition, a bedtime story for young Lithari hatchlings. "Do not wake the humans?" mocked the elder. "What could a primitive species do to us? Their empire is nothing but scattered farms and small settlements. They are weak." Yet one officer, a captain named Rayler, felt unease. He had spent his life in campaigns across star systems, and he knew that arrogance was often the precursor to disaster. The stories described them surviving extinction, rising against impossible odds, adapting to any threat. He said cautiously, "I have no desire to test this firsthand, but we should respect the warnings." No one listened. The Dominion sent an expeditionary fleet to the human world, armed with the latest weapons, intending to map, control, and perhaps conquer the planet with minimal resistance. The humans noticed nothing at first. Their cities functioned, their daily lives continued, oblivious to the silent scouts hovering above. Scientists recorded stars and planets, children played in the streets, farmers tended their fields. They had no idea their planet was being examined by 1,000 alien eyes. The first contact occurred in a remote valley, where a Lithari probe touched the surface. It beeped and shimmered, scanning for resources, for biological data, for weaknesses. From the shadows, a human observer watched, unseen. His name was Jonas. He was a historian, fascinated by the galaxy beyond his world and yet unafraid. Humans had a strange confidence, a calm that came from knowing their planet was their own. When the probe malfunctioned, its energy readings disrupted by an invisible field, Jonas did not panic. He approached it, curious, touching its metallic surface with a steady hand. In an instant, the probe deactivated, not from destruction, but from submission to a force the humans had long held in reserve. The field was subtle, invisible, yet overwhelming. The probe shut down as though acknowledging the human presence, as though respecting an unspoken authority. Back in orbit, the Lithari fleet reported the loss of the probe. Rayler suggested retreat, cautioning the council. "The humans are not asleep as we thought. They are aware in ways we cannot yet measure. I urge patience." But impatience ruled. The elders decided to send soldiers to establish a foothold. Dropships pierced the atmosphere, armored troops stepping onto the soil, expecting an easy victory. The humans did not run. They did not hide. They waited. At first, the Lithari soldiers laughed at the apparent simplicity of the human settlements. They had weapons of energy and metal, technology beyond anything the humans possessed. Yet as they approached the towns, a strange phenomenon occurred. Communications failed, sensors flickered, and machines refused to operate. The air seemed to hum with resistance, a subtle force that the soldiers could not explain. Jonas watched again, standing on a hill with a group of neighbors. "They think this is conquest," he said. "They do not understand the first law. They never did." By nightfall, the soldiers realized the humans were not acting randomly. They were using the environment itself as a weapon. Crops grew unnaturally fast in their fields. Vines and trees moved as though alive, barricading paths, blocking advances. Human settlements seemed to anticipate the Lithari movements, positioning defenders and obstacles with uncanny precision. Confusion spread through the Dominion fleet. Rayler tried to calm the council. "They are not just surviving. They are countering every strategy we employ. Every plan fails before it begins." The council laughed at first, but the laughter faded when reports of entire dropships failing to land correctly reached them. One by one, ships crashed into the forests, their occupants disoriented by magnetic anomalies they could not trace. Communication arrays burned out without explanation. Sensors recorded shapes moving faster than known physics, yet no alien or human could be seen controlling them. It became clear that the humans were awake. They were awake in ways no one could anticipate. Their abilities were not technological alone. They were strategic, instinctive, and terrifyingly effective. Rayler's warnings now seemed prophetic. The Dominion escalated, sending larger forces, demanding obedience. But humans were patient. They lured the invaders into traps, using terrain, weather, and even the wildlife of their planet as extensions of their will. Cities that seemed small erupted into fortresses, not through walls or weapons, but through organization and collective effort. The Lithari soldiers found themselves facing resistance that was impossible to quantify. One by one, the fleets that had mocked humanity began to retreat. But it was too late. The humans had learned, adapted, and struck where the Dominion was weakest. Starports were destroyed, supply lines severed, and once proud warships fell to coordinated attacks that combined ingenuity and sheer determination. On the council world, panic took hold. Elders who had mocked the warnings now pleaded for truce. "They are stronger than we imagined," one admitted. "We underestimated their resilience. Entire fleets are lost. Our plans fail continuously." Rayler, observing from his command post, could only nod. "We awoke them," he said quietly. "The one rule, we broke it." In orbit above the human planet, a final battle unfolded. The Dominion's command ships moved to strike decisively, but human forces, small in number yet coordinated with perfection, disabled critical systems before the weapons could fire. The humans moved with unity, their cities acting as command centers, their networks invisible yet precise. Even alien observers began to suspect that humanity was not merely defending its homeworld, but asserting dominance in a way that transcended technology. By the time the last Lithari vessel attempted escape, it was too late. The human forces had learned the patterns of the galaxy's weapons, the weaknesses of its tactics, and the arrogance of its commanders. Entire empires were shattered not by brute force alone, but by adaptability, intelligence, and the strange, relentless determination of a species once thought primitive. When the smoke cleared, the human world was scarred but victorious. Cities had withstood bombardments, forests had reclaimed battlefields, and the seas had swallowed remnants of the invaders. Jonas stood atop a hill overlooking the capital, observing the calm after chaos. "We survived," he whispered. "Not because we were the strongest in firepower, but because we never forgot who we are." The galaxy would never forget. Tales spread quickly, first among those who had witnessed the human resistance, then across star systems that had once mocked their existence. Other civilizations began to reconsider their assumptions, the lessons painfully clear. The humans were not merely a sleeping species, they were a force of nature, capable of bending the rules of war, strategy, and survival in ways that defied understanding. For generations, the Dominion rebuilt, but the memory of their hubris lingered. No council would ever again dismiss the humans. No fleet would approach their world without caution. The one rule had been written into the galaxy's records: do not wake the humans. And yet the humans had awoken themselves, not with malice but with awareness, patience, and an unyielding will. Their empire had been scarred, but their spirit was unbroken. From the ashes of initial conflict, humanity began to expand, not as a reckless conqueror, but as a calculated force mastering their technology, their strategies, and the galaxy itself. In time, the Lithari and others came to understand what Jonas had known from the beginning. Humans were not governed by fear, by rules, or by systems of control. They were governed by resolve, ingenuity, and the unshakable confidence that no challenge was insurmountable. When the galaxy thought them weak, they were merely sleeping. When awakened, they were unstoppable. The ruins of the Lithari Empire became a testament to that truth, a warning etched in orbiting debris and shattered fleets. The humans moved among the stars, cautious yet determined, knowing the power of patience, the danger of arrogance, and the importance of never breaking the rules of foresight. They had learned the one lesson the galaxy would never forget: underestimate humanity at your peril, and the galaxy would remember forever.